Hi, everybody. This is Brian Begley from nCloud9, and I am here for our monthly webinar series. Um, Today, we are going to be discussing using Microsoft Outlook integration between Dynamics 365 with Dynamics CRM and Microsoft Outlook. So with that, we're going to get started because we have a lot to go over. We do have a deck of PowerPoint slides, but we're not going to use them. And so at the end of the webinar, after the recording has been created, we'll send out the slide deck with some further information and how to do some configuration of the Outlook add-in for Dynamics 365 when we wrap this webinar up. So with that, I'm just going to get started with using the new Outlook app within Dynamics 365. About 2 years ago, Microsoft replaced the old heavy Outlook application that ran under Dynamics 365 or that allowed you to track emails, track phone calls, track contacts, etc. from Microsoft Outlook to Dynamics 365 and vice versa. It was not a great application, and the new application had a lot of features that the old one lacked. One of the most important features is, as you can see, I'm using Outlook here in my web browser. I'm not using the Outlook application, and it works in multiple areas. So I can track emails from my Outlook desktop app. I can track emails to CRM records from my web app, or I can even track emails from my cell phone. So if I have Outlook loaded on my cell phone, I can track emails to Dynamics 365 from my cell phone. So I'm going to show you a couple scenarios, and I'm going to start with Outlook in the web browser here of how to use Microsoft Outlook and Dynamics 365 to increase productivity. The first is going to be a sales scenario. So I have an email here that came in from Kristen Caniglia, and she asked me to send her some information on our products. So I want to reply back to her. But first thing I want to do is find out, is she a customer in our CRM? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the three dots in my in the email, and I'm going to scroll down to Dynamics 365. Now I can pin this app so it stays open all the time. So I did that here, and it's finding that there's no contact in CRM for Kristen Caniglia. So it automatically looks in our database. It says there's nobody in CRM that has that email address. So if I click on this plus button here, I can add them to Dynamics 365 as a contact, a lead, or an account. Since Kristen is a lead, I'm going to choose to add her as a lead. And when I do that, it's going to take certain information out of the email and put it into that lead form. So it brings up this quick create lead form right here. I am going to create this lead record. I'm going to give her a company name. Okay, and she works at the Venice Inn, we'll say, and we'll give her a phone number and a description. And I am now going to save and close. So from this email that I just received from Kristen, I'm able to create a lead record. Oh, it looks like I need to fill in a topic. Interested in paper products. Okay, and I'm going to click save and close. And it created a lead for us. I can click on this button there to view the record, but it does show that a lead has been created for Kristen Caniglia. She works at the Venice Inn. She's the owner of the record. That's her job, or the owner of the Venice Inn. And it would have her cell phone number or her mobile phone or business phone number if I had filled that in. I can now look at that lead. So I can click on View in Dynamics 365. And it's going to open up Dynamics 365, and it's going to show that lead record that I just created from my email, and it's going to show the email that I tracked from within Outlook in here. I want to now reply back to Kristen. She's looking for some information on our products. I want to send her some sales literature we have in Dynamics 365. And so now I'm going to click on reply. So I'm going to click reply all. and it's now sending out an email. So Kristen, here is the, okay. So now I'm creating an email here. Now I want to grab some information from Dynamics to put in here, because we have sales literature stored in our Dynamics 365. So once I open the Dynamics 365 window and I click on this little icon here, I'm going to be able to click here and I'm going to say add some sales literature. So it's going to go out and it's going to find sales literature, and here we have our paper sales literature. And it's going to insert those PDFs that are in the CRM or Dynamics 365 sales literature records and put them into the email. And so blah, 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 and say thank you. And I am going to send this email. Now, before I send it, it does show that this email is going to be tracked as soon as I send it. And it's also going to be tracked against Kristen Caniglia's lead record. So I'm just going to send that email out. And now if I open up that lead record from Kristen, I should see, and sometimes it does take a few moments, but eventually I will see that email that I replied back to her in Dynamics 365. Let's just do a quick refresh of this record. Still not seeing it, but it'll come by. It'll show in Dynamics probably within about 5 to 10 minutes. So that's one scenario for using Dynamics 365 add-in for Outlook for a sales scenario. I've created a lead, and I've sent the customer, the potential customer, some information about our products. The next scenario I want to walk through is a little bit different. It's a customer who is looking for some support, and so I want to create a case to help them out. So I have an email here from Jody, and she says she needs some assistance with the issue we discussed earlier. Now I also look over on the right side. It shows me my Dynamics 365 panel, and it's showing me some information about Jody. So I look here, it says, hey, Jody's not in here, so we should probably create a contact record for her first. So I'm going to click on my plus button. This time I'm going to say add her as a contact. And so I have her name comes in, Jody Henry, and we're going to say that she is a consultant. I'm going to assign her to an existing account in our CRM. So I'm going to hit the enter key, and I'm going to say she works for us at nCloud9. And I could add more information in here. I'm just going to, at this point, save and close this contact record. So it created a contact record for her under the nCloud9 account in Dynamics 365. And now what I can do is I can say, well, right now this email is being tracked against the contact record, but I really want to create a case for Jody. So what I want to do here is say, I don't want this to be tracked against the contact record. I want to change the regarding. And so it asks me, what do you want to set regarding? Well, I can go down here and I can track it against various records. I can track it against this account or a lead record, but I want to create a new case to track this against. So I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm going to choose new record, and I have 5 or 6 different records that I can track against. Now this is customizable, so you can modify this so that your users can track against a custom entity you've built or any entities in the system, but this is something that has to be configured by a system administrator. I'm going to track this against a case, and it brings up the quick create case form. So I'm going to say, who do I want to create a case for? nCloud9. And case title is going to be needs help with Teams. And I can choose a subject, and I can choose all this information that needs to be on our case form. I'm going to click save and close. And I've just created a case record for this email. So if I click on the 3 dots here, I can view this case in Dynamics 365. Brings up that case record. It shows the email that came in from Jody. I can from here do my further information. I can do some analysis of what she's looking for, and I might want to send her an email back with a knowledge base article that we've created. So I'm going to go back to Microsoft Outlook. Now you could do this from within the case as well. I can create an email here and attach a knowledge base article to it as well, but I'm going to do it from Outlook right now. So I go into Microsoft Outlook, and I am going to now do a reply to this email. So if I click Reply All, and I'm going to bring up Dynamics 365 again. For some reason, sometimes it goes away, even if I have it pinned down. So I'm going to say, Jody, here is a KB to solve your issue. Please. And I am not going to fix all my spelling errors here. So I want to insert a knowledge base article on the topic that Jody has asked about. So I could also, once again, click on this icon here in the Dynamics 365 app, and I can add a knowledge base article. You can also, we're not going to go through this today, but if you have pre-built email templates in Dynamics 365 for common email scenarios, you can also use email templates. But I'm going to click Add a Knowledge Article. And I can do a number of things. I can search for a particular topic, or I can just hit my Enter key, and it's going to bring up all of the knowledge base articles. I'm going to include this knowledge base article on return authorizations. I'm going to click Select, and what you'll see is it put all of this information into the email, and I'm sending that directly out to her. So I'm now going to click on the Send button, and the email has been sent to her with this knowledge base article. Let's see if we have yet tracked those two emails. We had one from Kristen that we sent out and one to Jody that was sent out. Now, if you look at this, you'll see that there's an icon here or a category button that says Track to Dynamics. That's how I know when I'm looking at emails whether they've been tracked to Dynamics 365 or not. So that's one nice feature, allows you to see what's been tracked. I'm going to go into Jody Henry's contact record from here. So I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm going to click on the open up her contact record, and we see that email. Let's go find that case. Looks like we're not seeing the case here. Let's go to nCloud9 to see the case. Okay, here's the case that I created. So let's open that up. And in our timeline, we see that email that came in. It doesn't look like we've tracked the email yet coming back that we sent back to Jody, but eventually that will show up on here. I think it will also show any knowledge base articles we've sent to the customer. No, we're not seeing that here. Okay, so that is, in a nutshell, some of the things that you can do with Dynamics 365 and Outlook. There's a couple more things I do want to show you, like, for example, how to track an appointment from Outlook against a contact in Dynamics 365. So I'm going to switch to my Outlook calendar down here at the bottom, and I have one appointment here on my calendar, and it's the webinar we are in right now. So let's say I wanted to take this and track this against one of my contacts, or a lead, or an email, or a opportunity. I could click on the Edit button, and when I bring up the Edit button, it shows me information about the appointment. If I choose more options, I could then click on the Dynamics 365, and it'll bring up this appointment. It'll say right now that this appointment's not tracked, but I could say Set Regarding, and we'll just say it was for that support case that I have with Jody. So right now it's tracking this appointment against Jody's record. And that's how easy it is to track appointments from Dynamics 365 or from Outlook to Dynamics 365. Now, a couple things have changed between the old app and the new app. One is that there's no easy way to track tasks from Microsoft Outlook to Dynamics 365. You can create a task in Outlook or in Dynamics 365, and it will sync over to Outlook. But I can't find a way to track a task from Outlook to Dynamics 365. Another thing that's changed is tracking contacts from Outlook to Dynamics 365. So for example, if I go to this record here and I open up Joe Lead, I'm going to get rid of that. There's nothing here that I can find that will allow me to track this contact to Dynamics 365 from here. Now, I'm going to open up my Microsoft Outlook here. This is my full application of Microsoft Outlook. There is an add-in, and so if you have Dynamics 365 working in your Outlook application, you can click on the three dots down here, and there's a section called add-ins. And under add-ins, there's a Dynamics 365 add-in that's used specifically to track Outlook contacts to Dynamics 365 and Dynamics 365 contacts to your Outlook. So I'm going to go to Outlook contacts, and it shows me the list of all the people here who are not tracked into Dynamics 365. So let's say I want to take Al Lubkin here. So if I click on Al Lubkin and I click track, what will happen is Al will be moved into my CRM as a contact record. So it'll create a contact, and then I could tie him to Networks Inc. when I bring that in. I could also go into Dynamics 365 contacts, and I could find a contact, for example, maybe Abby here. Abby may not be in my Outlook, so I could click on this and click track, and it will create a contact in my Outlook for me for Abby. So there are ways to take your contacts from CRM and from Outlook and put them in the other application. It's just not the same process as in the older application that we all might be used to. So the last thing I want to show you, and then we'll have some time for some questions here, and if you do have any questions, just so you know that you can put your questions into the box in the GoToWebinar window. I'm going to open up my phone here and just show you a little bit about how this application works on your phone. So I'm going to go into my phone. It's going to give me just a moment here to switch my phone on. Okay. So I can open up my phone, and I'm going to open up my email, and I'm just going to find an email here from Jody, and there's an email that came in. I can take this email and I can click on those three dots here, and that will bring up things I can do. So from here, I can choose to track this email into Dynamics 365. We couldn't do this with the older Dynamics 365 application that everybody had that worked with Outlook. So from here, I could say track this email against Jody, and it will move that email in. So we have the same functionality using the Microsoft Outlook app that exists on your phone, so that you can track emails from your phone, track appointments, and see information from your Outlook Dynamics in your Outlook. So that's the only other thing I really wanted to show you today. There is some configuration that's required in order to get the best usage out of the Outlook application. Of course, here at nCloud9, we can help you out. Feel free to get a hold of us at sales@ncloud9.com if you do have any questions with rolling out the application to your users. But it's a pretty straightforward process. There's just some customization that you can make to make it work even better for you. So let me look. I'm looking at some of the questions here that we have. Looks like we have one. How can we track a project from an account and not have that info tracked as, I'm trying to read this here. I'm trying to find, I'm sorry to say this, but the application that Microsoft has or that GoToWebinar has for sending questions. How can we track a project from an account and not have that info tracked as, this is from you, Michelle. Maybe you and I can talk about that offline, but it sounds like, I know that we've built some custom entities for you. You can sort, you can configure the records that you are tracking emails against. So for example, when we track this email here, I'm going to open up the Dynamics 365 app, and you saw that when I track this email, I tracked it against the case. I can change what this email is being tracked against, and I can determine different types of records. So for example, it can be an account, it could be a contact, a case, a knowledge article, leads, or opportunities. If you wanted to track it against a project record, which is a custom entity, we'd have to modify the back end of the Outlook integration, and it's not a very complex, it's something that can be done in about 10 or 15 minutes, to say, allow people to track emails against specific projects or against any other custom entity that we've created in CRM. So hopefully that answers your question, Michelle. I'm trying to see, we have another question here from Angela. And you're just asking for some registering for this webinar. We will be sending you out a recording of this webinar at the end of the day, and we'll also be sending out a set of PowerPoints with some common scenarios and usage cases for this. And then you had a question from Svet here. Will the attachment appear in the tracked email in Dynamics 365? That's a good question. Let's take a look right now. So we had that case where we sent an email out to Jody, and I'm going to just do a refresh of the case form, and hopefully by now that email's come in. Yeah, so here's the email that I replied back to Jody, and let's open up this email. And it's going to show the attachments that were included and the information from that KB article. Let's also look at the email that I sent to Kristen. So I'm going to go to Kristen's case. So let's go find that case or that lead that I created for her. I'm going to go to my Sales Hub to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go into leads, and there's Kristen's lead. And underneath that lead, we see that email. And here's the email I sent, and there is that PDF that I sent to her from Outlook, that it shows that it is being tracked in that email that's in Dynamics 365. So it's showing up right over here that this attachment was delivered to this customer. Any other questions that I can answer for you today? So it looks like I think we've solved any questions. If anybody has any questions they want to ask me after this call, please feel free to contact us. Once again, you can reach me at bbegley@ncloud9.com or also at sales@ncloud9.com. So thank you very much.
Brian,
yes.
Excuse me. We have a question in the chat from Angela.
Okay, I'm not seeing that here.
Oh, I think she sent it to me. It says only the add-in can track a contact from the Outlook to Dynamics, but with the new APP.
With the new app?
Or with the new app.
So with the new app, when I showed you how to track an email or a contact from Outlook into Dynamics 365, this is the only way to do it with the new app. So you have to go to add-ins, and when you go to add-ins, you have Dynamics. It shows you all of your Outlook contacts, all the ones that are untracked, and you could choose multiple records at the same time and link them over to Dynamics 365. So it is possible to do that, but this is the only way to do it in 2019 or 2020.
She also asks if it makes a difference if the Dynamics they use is on-premise or off-premise.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. You can use this new application with on-premise or off or cloud-hosted Dynamics 365. There's just a little bit more configuration required if you are using on-premise Dynamics 365 and on-premise Exchange. If you're using the Office 365 version of Microsoft Outlook and the Office 365 cloud-hosted Dynamics 365, the setup of this is 5 minutes or less. If you're using it on-premise, there's more configuration that needs to be done to link your Exchange server to Dynamics 365. Okay, was that it, Kristen? Any other questions that you see?
I think so. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll be sending you out a recording and we'll be sending you out a deck with some more information. We'll also be sending you emails shortly about our next topic. I think we haven't yet decided on what our next topic is, Kristen, have we? For February?
No, we have not.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions or any thoughts about what they would like to see covered, please, once again, let us know and we'll build out a webinar for you. Thanks very much. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.